What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I host the only online show in the world for fathers and dads. It's sponsored by Dove Men Care. It's also co-sponsored by Dad Central. And that's another little tidbit. I've had the opportunity either directly or indirectly to reach out to 75,000 fathers this year. So I'm so blessed about that. So I'm really jacked about that. One other thing, I am the board chair for the Global Food and Drink Initiative, which is a multimedia not-for-profit that prides itself in showcasing Blacks in the diaspora that are doing their thing in food, wine, and travel. And remember, you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. It's July 28th. We're broadcasting live. Usually we don't do State of Things on this night, but we didn't get a chance during the weekend, and we don't want to leave our community hanging. So we got them back, and actually they're going to be on tonight, which is Wednesday night, and also on Saturday. So you're getting double for trouble in a very few days. We got two beautiful ladies who mean the world to me, Aisha and Jill. How are you?
Hello.
Hi.
Congratulations to you about the 75,000 dads.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. And growing. So I'm very humbled about that. And always good to have both of you here. Just for everyone to know, we had an incredible production meeting this afternoon, and we are planning things to make it better for all of you. But also, if you have suggestions, touch base with us via Twitter, via Instagram. But we're looking and getting some feedback from you. I'll put it right out there. In the near future, we're going to be sending out a survey to find out what you want, what you don't want, etc. We want to make it better for you. Ladies, it's been a minute since we've been live. What's been going on?
Oh, it has been a minute. Aisha had the travel schedule from I don't know where.
Lina.
Right. I know. They kept delaying the flight. And it's like, okay, your flight's supposed to leave at 7:30 p.m. And it's like, oh, sorry, it's going to leave at like 10:30 p.m. I'm like, I'm not leaving this late and getting back. I'm supposed to go fly to LaGuardia. I'm like, I'm not getting back to LaGuardia at via DC at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So
oh my goodness,
kept going, and finally got our flight on Sunday, and we're going to miss the connecting flight. I'm like, just send me to Connecticut. Forget LaGuardia. Just can you fix it so I can go straight into Connecticut? And we got home, and it was just like, oh, okay. Glad to be home from traveling. But I miss South Carolina, I miss my dad, but I also miss my family here too. So
yeah, of course.
That's hard. Yeah. That's hard. Really difficult. And Jill, what's been going on in your world?
Just the same old stuff. You know, I've actually been taking a little bit more time I started following this fabulous app. It's called Fabulous. And I've been doing, changing a lot of habits and patterns and different things like that. So it kind of notifies you through the day, keeping you on sort of a schedule. And I like it. It's, you know, it has daily coaching. So it's a new addition to calming my life a little bit better, because today, you know, I'm just, you know, looking at the world, and sometimes it's not so good to look at it.
True. Well, you know, and I know both these ladies have a love of an artist named Prince, and he has an upcoming release on Friday. So maybe we want to have a little quick chat about that, ladies.
Well, I want to say something. Aisha wrote, you know, there's been that thread that's been going on in celebration of my album for like the last 4 weeks, this month. And Aisha wrote such an amazing thread on her Twitter page about all of, you know, things that she and I have spoken about, you know, the industry and Prince and all of that. So I want to give a big applause to
incredible.
Aisha,
You've been doing an incredible job, Aisha. I've been reading them too. Incredible.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, your gift of writing. Wow, I'm not blessed with that. So
you know what? When it came to that thread, I was trying to go to bed. Okay, this is how it came up. Okay, I was trying to go to sleep, and I couldn't go to sleep because what I had to write just kept gnawing at me and gnawing at me. And it's like I'm writing in my head, and I hate when that happens because it keeps me up. And I'm like, let me just get up and write this damn thing. And I just got up and I wrote it, and it just flowed. And then I was like, I'm like, now let me go pick out the pictures to go along with it. And then I just didn't go to bed.
Right.
Wow.
It's amazing. It was just really sensational. I love it.
Wow.
Thank you. But the album is going to be phenomenal. The reviews have been very good. A lot of people that have heard it are, oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. The truth of the matter is that from what I've heard so far, and some other clips that I've heard on the Prince channel on Sirius XM, I like what I've heard. And I think what people are reacting to is that he's speaking a truth.
Yes.
And also a racial truth.
Yes.
That a lot of people don't want to face. He's making people look at this eyes wide open. And some people wanted Prince to go back to go back to the Purple Rain era. Well, he grew past that. He grew out of it. That was a period of time. And I think, this is the music that we need now in this time. There is a reason, he kept it for whatever reason that he kept it for. But now really is the right time for this release. And just, I think it's sad that in some ways you have to view that there are some prejudices and racism within the Prince fan community that come out on a release like this. But as a whole, I think that what I've heard so far are really good songs, and even the live songs that I've heard on the Prince channel are excellent. Like Shelby J did an excellent cover of India Airie's Brown Skin. That are going to be on the live video that come with it. So I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, I've heard some of it just because I have it, and I like a lot of them. I don't like whoever keeps picking the singles to release. I didn't like the single. It reminded me, but in a really weird way, it kind of reminded me of Saturday morning cartoons. What was the name of the first single?
Welcome to America.
No. There's a single, the first single that was released. It was just the latest release.
Hot Summer.
Yeah,
that one I don't know.
That personally, I think, and they do. I don't know who keeps picking those, but that one's not my favorite because it also sonically doesn't sound great to me as far as like the vocal of the woman. I don't know if it's a sample or if it's the mic is too close. So I just have my own thing, but that's not my cup of tea. But the rest of the record, since I've heard it, is it's great, and it is timely because that one seems like such an oddball one when you look at the weight of what he's speaking about in the rest of the album. I guess they thought, well, we'll do a summertime thing, but the vibe of this record is quite nice. It's quite grown up.
Yeah, we're going to get right into our stories. I've heard a few things, but the album, even though it was made a long time ago, is so, as you said, apropos for what's going on right now. Sure. It just solidifies him as a true visionary.
Yeah.
Right.
True visionary.
I agree.
So let's get to our conversation topics. And again, shout out to everyone who's watching live on the replay or listening on the replay. Thank you so much. And Jen Myers says hello to everybody. What is up, Jen? Let's get to our first conversation piece. Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka's Tokyo Olympics experience. So for those who don't know, Simone Biles, she regards herself as the GOAT. Even had her flippers and the GOAT. And to me, that was a little much, but that's another conversation.
Right.
Dropping out, because she mentally wasn't up to performing at the Olympics, and the American gymnastic team, the ladies, finished second. And Naomi Osaka like the favorite to win in tennis, Japanese heritage, lit the flame, got knocked out of the tennis. So within 24 hours, probably the two most prominent Black female athletes gone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I mean, my thoughts for Naomi were it was kind of crazy for her to think that she would go in and even get as far as she did. I think that's great. But when you don't play, you gotta, and you know, Dr. Vibe, you're a big tennis head too. A lot of people who watch a lot of tennis were questioning if she would be able to pull it off, because the pace that they live and the pace of what they're doing, it seems crazy. You think, well, they can go out and practice and we're, just practice. It's not that. It's the whole being in that mental space of it. So if you've left it for your mental health, it's very hot. It's difficult to just jump right in, I think, because everybody else has been planning for this Olympic moment for a very long time. So they're mentally at a different level from their normal playing regimen. And then they're up like that. I mean, I thought she got as far as she did, and she was lucky for doing so, because that girl, what was she, from Czechoslovakia?
Yeah.
She's wicked. I mean, the girl, she got her number quickly. And then by that second set, it was done. And also because they're not playing, I don't know, even the men, they're only playing, 3 sets? I think. So, this was, it was just kind of expected, in my opinion. So I wasn't surprised.
Okay. I think the interesting part with Naomi is that it's going to be very interesting to see what the next year is for her. I think it's going to be very much a crossroads, because, okay, how does she recover from this? Because she did say she felt she had a good amount of time taking a break.
Yeah, she said that.
And now she comes back from her break and she loses. Now, losing it in the big limit, all this stuff.
Right.
Has she recovered yet?
No. I mean, look at the way Djokovic even trains. I was watching a video of his just training every day. Your brain has to be, and I'm trying to follow a little app that's got habits and things, but it all is here, all of it. And the minute, if you're having some kind of issues with that anyway, not being there, then yeah, I think she just needed some more time or to collect herself. That's just my thought.
Any thoughts on Naomi from you, Aisha?
No, not really, because I don't keep up with tennis like that. But I do. No. But I do keep up with gymnastics. So I do have.
Okay, let's flip to Simone.
To I took ballet lessons for years, and then I was a cheerleader in high school for years. And I can tell you this: I have broken toes, sprained ankles, sprained wrists, shin splints. The gamut of it. I've had so many injuries just from those two things. And, when you're dancing on your toes and if you're not thinking about it, if you're not concentrating on it, you can injure yourself. You can miss a step and just lose your balance and your ankle just goes out. And I've had that happen before. And I've seen it happen to other girls who have gotten seriously injured. I think the fact that she decided to step out because she mentally needed to take care of herself was a good thing, because she could have really injured herself. She could have killed herself with the gymnastics feats that she does. If she wasn't concentrating, she could have broken her neck. And that's that. Also, too, I think for me, saying that on this side of it and looking at just reading social media, I'm more kind of surprised about the reaction to it. That is
I want to get to
that.
that.
Is what's out of control.
There's a lot of interesting reaction. We were chatting about this beforehand, but I won't get too much deeper into it right now. But Jill, what were your thoughts when she pulled out?
Well, you know, I understand a little bit why there would be the reaction that she got, because, you know, she's got the biggest ad placements through this whole thing, number one. Number two, she was over-rotating a lot, even before the Olympics a little bit. There was something happening on her dismounts a few times. Don't get me wrong, she's amazing. But I think the reason she was left kind of in the lurch about this was people started to question, are you now going to jump on the Naomi Osaka bandwagon with the mental health thing because it's convenient, or is this legitimate? Because the reality here is, you know, she got a lot of criticism from that. First of all, they got dusted by Russia, and they're not used to that. You know, she's the golden girl. And it really, to be honest, if anything got in her head, and I feel was that tournament, that match between the other gymnasts for some reason. And then I think having to face that, I can't read her mind. I don't know. But yeah, it could be a mental health crisis when you're not used to criticism, or when you think you've let people down, or you feel you can't go on. It has nothing to do with like, oh, I still got to keep pulling through. This is a personal thing. It just kind of appeared that way to a lot of people, which is why they went for her. There was no sign of any mental health issues before.
Yeah, well, so there's two things I want to get deeper on here. First of all, you know, her calling herself the GOAT.
That was a big thing. That you set yourself up for a big fall.
You know, that's actually, there's three things. Especially calling yourself the GOAT, wearing flip-flops saying you're the GOAT, wearing a thing saying you're the GOAT. I really would love to know how the other girls feel. Really would like to know, because she basically backed out. And I was seeing some stuff in social media, and I don't watch a lot of social media. Some people were saying, hold on, a number of years ago, there was a lady named, it was a Carrie Shrugs. Yeah. Who was in the Olympics, and she basically had some sort of leg or ankle injury, and she toughed it out.
She did. Yeah. She did.
She toughed it out.
Those are the stories in the Olympics that actually have made the Olympics. You're absolutely right. Those are the ones where we remember people who've fallen down during a baton race, and the person who went back to help them up lost the race. You know, so those are these really heroic moments. So in a really weird way, she let a lot of people down on, you know, they can ice that leg, they can do whatever. It wasn't broken. As Shrugs was really seriously injured, to the point where that was when people were like, I don't know if she should do this. She may never be able to do gymnastics again. Yeah. You know, with that kind of an injury and continuing to play. So yeah, I think wearing the GOAT shoes, you really said a lot. And if you set yourself up for your own fall, that's bad. Now, who goes around calling themselves the GOAT?
Well, this and you know, and again,
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, people may give me pushback, but I think it's a legit thing. When you proclaim yourself to be that, you got to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
And she is only 24 years old.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of training and there's a lot of this stuff. And I know I do feel for her. I think now the next part of it is people saying the attack on Black women.
I don't know. I'm a little torn on that. I think that they like to, well, we have a lot of women in some really key spaces. I don't know. I really don't know how to comment on that, but somewhere we have to acknowledge that maybe this has nothing maybe to do with color. I mean, it's kind of, for Naomi Osaka, she wasn't even, for me, I was like, great, she's out. So that means an American could win, you know, because wasn't for Japan. She's with Japan. She's with America.
There's an interesting point. If it wasn't the Olympics, would she still be competing right now?
Who? Simone?
No, Naomi.
Oh, right. No.
Interesting question.
I don't think she would. Do you?
I don't think she would be. She'd still probably be taking. Probably, I think she'd still be taking time off.
I think so for sure. I think I heard a guy say that these young people don't realize how overwhelming the Olympics is, the stress of it. But there have been people who've waited their whole lives to get there, and some really magical things happen at the Olympics with the people who win, just because it is about the battle of wills. I remember the old lead-in story. Remember they used to play it.
Yeah.
It was like that whole.
Yeah.
It was about the battle of will, about the victory and defeat, the honor and defeat, all of it. It was such a great ad. But the thing is that, I don't think so. I think she would have. I think they wanted I'll probably dust everybody off who's competing in the Olympics.
I think that I would have been an interesting question saying, Naomi, you can light the flame, but you don't have to play.
Yes, exactly. But I know a lot of Japanese people were like, a little bit like, what? You get your opportunity to this country and you blow it, that's basically it. They should be stronger in a sense of how this is the way it is, and let's be honest, everybody's young in sports because that's the only time you can do damn sports unless you're playing snooker or pool.
Real Django is saying Naomi needs to just chill, heal herself, motivate herself.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think the thing with the Simone Biles thing is that I think people like Piers Morgan takes it too far when we're talking about the preying on Black women piece. It's like, can you stop just talking for like the next 50 years? It really depends on who the criticism is coming from. Like there are a number of keyboard racists who really have gotten on her, and it's obvious what their agenda is.
Well, and I mentioned to the ladies beforehand, Jason Whitlock, he ripped into her for an hour.
It's wrong.
But that's what he does. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He never has anything kind to say about Black women.
He has a problem.
He does. It's like, does he say anything nice about his mother?
No, probably
I have to wonder.
not.
No, wow. He
gives his mother the Mariah Carey treatment. I don't know her.
He was cursing about it, saying she doesn't realize she doesn't realize what Black people suffered through in this country, this, that, and the other thing. It was quite an interesting rant for an hour. It was quite.
What does that have to do with backflipping?
Yeah, but like I said, we could see that even in the before the Olympics, when she was going in for qualifying for it, there were issues on the landing from the vaults that I was seeing that I thought, because she goes so hard that she can't control those landings. So it's no wonder she went all the way back. I don't do it for a living, and definitely people shouldn't really attack them for this. But the main reason is sometimes, this is what it is. It's sports. Sports always brings out the jock mentality in people.
So here's an interesting thing too. You compare both of them. Naomi has a lot of years to go. Simone, what's next? If this is the end of her Olympic career, it's not a good look.
No, but this would be it, basically.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's not a good look. It's not the way you want to end your Olympic career. And for her to train for another 4 years at 28, I don't see it.
I don't see her I don't see her going back to train for it.
Right.
She might try and do another championship to kind of prove that she still has the stuff and then retire. Like a world championship. Yeah. But Olympics, no.
Yeah.
The conditions are very different there in Japan. I know with the tennis, they were speaking a lot about the humidity, and Djokovic got in a lot of trouble for asking for the temperatures were crazy for them to be playing, and he wanted them to be
they
able
were
to play
really
in the
hot.
evening.
Yes.
So there's a lot of other factors. I think that if proper press people were working the way they used to, a lot of these issues would not become social media issues. They, you know, I don't know who are these people's press agents or people who know how to shape the story or to explain it. There was nobody. It was just a bunch of opinions about the fact that, wow, she's out of the game and it didn't look like she really hurt herself that bad, you know? And I think that's the problem. And, you know, a lot of these kids lost a lot of time because of last year. So I don't even know what the future of the Olympics is.
Yeah,
really
well, that's I was going to ask both of you.
Yeah,
Is there a need for the Olympics?
Anything. Yeah, I don't know. I think people are
you know, and financially, look at NBC. They're going to take a bath because Naomi and Simone are out.
They have to find their other golden gooses and their other golden girls. You know,
and Sha'Carri's not running. So there's another. So and
they have an opportunity though to really turn and kind of shift on the WNBA, maybe, and see if they can pull it out.
Well,
if they're looking that way, or the NBA
or
NBA All Stars.
Yes.
Well, they lost their first game, so so it's going to be an uphill climb. It's going to be interesting.
It's really interesting for me to see so many Americans being kicked out and losing, and maybe that's just the time of where we are.
The rest of the world's catching up. Look at that lady, Katie. I don't know her last name. The swimmer.
Oh yeah, who
Ledecky. She got beat twice by the Australian, but she's come back.
She did, but that was press because they had to make sure that win was so amazing because Ledecky got.
But she got
at that very end, at that last turn, it was like you could see the Australian girl, Ariana or whatever her name was, coming for her because she was like, you know, that girl swims like a shark. She just like takes her, she's like right beside her, you know, back. And then, woof, it was just crazy. So yeah, we're having an issue with our training programs, I would say maybe, or who decided to go. We'll see. Well, we do have an African-American girl running. I don't know if she's a hurdler. Beautiful girl, drop dead gorgeous. I don't know where she's from, back east, I believe. We still have her that they could make the star. We have a few people that, you know, and in my mind, then that's the good thing because this opens up an opportunity. And the reason when this happens, I start to pay attention and go, okay, so the universe presented this. So who's coming? And we might get familiar with some other really incredible talent.
Absolutely.
And statistically, we're really not in as bad of a position as we think we are. We have the second largest group of Olympic athletes in the Olympics compared to all the other countries. So we're going to see more people getting coming out and not doing as well compared to some of the other countries because
me an old timer.
And we have more than 600 people competing.
I still remember
compared to
the Olympics stands out in my mind and forever will be embedded in my mind because I was a child. Olga Korbut and Nadia Comaneci.
Yes.
Because I have never, ever, 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 ever seen any gymnast with that charisma. Never. That girl lit up like a cannon. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, it was just the charm, the effusive, this thing. And she did, for her time, she was great because it is a mental thing. Being out there is mental. That you've got to have those blinders on. So unfortunately, our girls may have gotten a little caught up in the celebrity and the fame and the attraction, or they're paying too much attention to social media. But, you know, the goat shoes were a turnoff, and it doesn't really humble you to people. I honestly believe that was a that was almost like, I don't know.
Wear them after you quit.
I agree. And
well,
never wear them.
I'm hoping that
in
that
jest,
was,
you would wear them.
Yeah, for her, I'm hoping that was a endorsement kind of thing that she had.
Right, but somebody should have said, I don't think that, there is something about, it's
humble.
It's just, you want humble. It
and
goes
humility.
a long way.
All right. Let's move on to our next conversation piece. And we're going to bring it up here on the screen. We got something to play for our wonderful community. Let's go. Here we go.
What makes the struggle and more painful is to know so many of my fellow citizens, including so many of the people I put my life at risk to defend, are downplaying or outright denying what happened. I feel like I went to hell and back to protect them and the people in this room. But too many are now telling me that hell doesn't exist, or that hell actually wasn't that bad. The indifference shown to my colleagues is disgraceful. My law enforcement career prepared me to cope with some of the aspects of this experience. Being an officer, you know your life is at risk whenever you walk out the door, even if you don't expect otherwise law-abiding citizens to take up arms against you. But nothing, truly nothing, has prepared me to address those elected members of our government who continue to deny the events of that day, and in doing so, betray their oath of office.
So that was testimony of a gentleman over the last few days, or was it earlier Monday, on the Capitol Commission, and I thought that was definitely worth playing. I was very passionate, one of many passionate testimonials during the Capitol hearing, and a number of police officers her lives were at risk that day testified. Ladies, thoughts?
Well, while he was testifying, he was actually on CNN that night. But while he was testifying, someone had called his office and left a voicemail, a really vulgar one. I mean, that CNN played it without deleting any of the curse words or offensive language at all. And this was just, it went on for like 2 minutes. And it was, I mean, just the nerve of some people. I really feel for those officers listening to them. It was very emotional and very just heartbreaking, because you realize these people were, they were basically defenseless. They were outnumbered, 1. 2, they didn't get the support that they needed from the government. The government, they're working to protect the people that work in the government, and the government would not protect them or give them the support that they needed from, like, the National Guard.
They're still not getting the support.
And they're still not getting the support from the members of the government. And it saddens me. And then there were the Black officers talking about, being called the N-word and facing the racism that they were facing. It was just, these testimonies were just heartbreaking. And you realize that this commission, it's basically a one-sided commission, because there's one side of this government that doesn't give a damn. There's one side of this government that it makes you question. They had to be in on it. It's like you would want answers if you weren't in on it. It's like, why are they so beholden to one person that they can't? It's like, don't you remember the horror of being trapped and worried about these people coming after you, and the only people standing in the way between you and that mob were these Capitol Police officers? They were the ones that were ushering you out of harm's way. You owe them something. If anything, you owe them at least your ear. and not to turn away. And so the whole situation is it's just disgusting.
Well, in my opinion, I think the Democrats unfortunately moved too slowly for me. I think that we've heard these stories. We've heard them in the media. We've heard pretty much the story to the point now where many people aren't even watching. They're tired. They're like, yeah, and nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. It's horrific. And the next time anybody ever raids and breaks in there, they should all walk away or just go out and do what they need to do. Because the reality here is the Democrats have become an incredibly disappointing crew of people. I get that they make a big show out of everything that they decide to do. This should have been done a lot earlier. We're almost damn near August. And I'm very disappointed with the party, incredibly disappointed. There is no way. I expected them to come into office and be like, EMTs running to, or firemen, running to the scene of a burning building. And they've just been like lollygagging all the way there. Yeah, I know they had some issues, but it's like they should have been taking people out on the way in the building. Pow, 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 pow. Call me crazy. I've seen how it plays out in the media, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick that this poor man and all these other people have to sit up there and beg for the value of their life to these people. They should all be sick and go home and puke their brains out. Chuck Schumer or whoever else is on the commission. We got bogged down with the impeachment stuff. Okay, that was Sunday. Nothing happens. He got impeached. Okay, everybody's shocked about, January 6th, but nobody has a solution. There are agencies on fire in our country that are not on the same page as the Biden administration. He has not cohesively started to connect and wield his power over any of them. The IRS, the CDC, over the FDA. He hasn't appointed a commissioner.
But so here's my question, though, Jill. How
the
much
hell is he doing?
How much can he get done with the Senate being controlled by the Republicans?
Because he should have just freaking fired people that he had the ability to fire people. We'd have been better off with empty chairs and just replace people. We need our government to start working properly. That other idiot Manchin, all of it. When you wait too long to make a move, the game's over. When you sit back, I was always hoping that he would have a game plan. Merrick Garland, he should actually go to him and ask him, can you leave? Can you just leave?
All right, before Aisha follows up, so just Jazzy for you, it is us utterly disgusting that Republicans are saying that these men made this up or had someone write their statements. These officers saved their lives.
I bet they won't next time.
Continues. Of course they were in on it. This was well planned and calculated. No, nothing is going to happen from this either.
Exactly. Sadly.
And he's saying about the president, he's too focused on infrastructure.
Well, to your point, Just Jazzy, the point is infrastructure is very key. It's the very reason why the IRS is running around leaning everybody's property right now, because people aren't paying attention. They're catching up. St. Louis just balanced its books from 8 years ago and is serving people every single day with penalties for bills they never told people that they had. So we have a really big problem, and it's huge. It's so huge. How are you going to do that to people? This is ridiculous. They are, as I saw a woman from Oklahoma, faxing her stuff in a fax machine, guys, to the IRS at the UPS store, standing there. She was talking about it, how long it took her. Okay, he definitely needs to get his points on infrastructure, because I will say something. If he starts addressing the agencies, that IRS that's coming for every GOP, it's coming for Dems and Republicans right now. It's like they all want to be like, let me get our money. Let's get our money from everybody's like 2020 tax return, guys. It's not even been a whole year yet. I'm telling you, they make a move, they'll get voted back in, but they got to fix something, because this nonsense, screwing around, wasting your time with the Senate, find a way to kick them all out, get rid of them, find a way. I'm that kind of person that's like, find the way. And,
Right.
you know, I worked with someone, I remember being in the studio with Prince, and there was something that happened. He goes, I don't care what you do, just find a way to make it work. And that's how I feel. Make it work. Fix it. Fix it.
They have arrested more people protesting the restoration of voting rights than they have for participating in this Capitol riot. And there's something fundamentally wrong with that. Yeah. Okay. Just to put it in perspective, it's because it's easier to arrest private citizens who are protesting peacefully than it is to arrest people who basically tore down the government. And they need to get rid of the judges as well, who are slapping these people on the wrist for this. That man got what was it, 6 months for trying to overthrow the government. Anyone else doing that would have gotten, what is it, for treason? What is it, life?
Yeah, but I think people are lulling back into sleep and just being really, if Dems lose the persistence of their, what's starting to happen is they're starting to get criticized as well. I mean, if anything, you know, they're not really pulling their weight. It's like, you're not. And Cori Bush in Missouri, this woman slept in her car with her children. You know how I was telling my husband, oh my gosh, they passed some kind of legislation. It won't take effect until 2025 for homelessness. And he's like and I said, but she's like the only one person. She was sleeping in her car with her kids. And he said, I mean, we are this is where we are. You try talking to people from European countries about what we have allowed to exist. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. This woman, as bright and brilliant as she is, and she's fighting for a law, and she got it together. Cori is amazing. But when I look at her and imagine this little petite thing sleeping in a car with her children, and she had to go out and run for office, and she got there. And Joe Biden and his people don't even stand up to that mongrel-looking monkey face, Margaret Taylor Greene or whatever her thing is. They don't do anything. It's at the point where it's like, I'm done with them right now. Today, I don't feel the Democrats at all. Either y'all got a plan, y'all better be making some moves, because watching these events with these people talking, I share their pain. I'm too much of an empath to know. It breaks my heart to know that nothing's going to come of it. Nothing. So for me, it's brutal to watch it. In fact, I had to turn it off because it makes me very upset.
I have to say this. One thing that is bothering me about the Biden administration, and Joe Biden specifically, is that he continues to tout this, I think we can get things done in a bipartisan way. It is not the same Republican Party as when he left the Senate in 2009.
He knows that.
He knows it, but it's like he refuses to believe it.
But he needs to believe. They don't even know him anymore. They haven't, half of those people, his friends that he went in there with,
they're dead.
They're dead.
Yeah. It's like he's
like, dude,
they're dead, dumb, crippling, crazy. Oh my gosh. It's like, if he says we can do this in a bipartisan way one more time, I swear I'm going to throw a shoe at the TV, because
I might have to come and wait. I might have to wipe his butt.
Okay, let's talk. I think on that note, we're going to take a break.
That was trending.
All right, folks, we're gonna go wipe ourselves for having right now to break. That's so hilarious. Look, so folks, when we come back, COVID hasn't gone away. In fact, it looks like it's in some places coming back. So stick with us after the break. We're going to talk about COVID hasn't left yet. Go. So, ladies, what is going on?
Just that he needs to get it together.
Sick of that. I am sick of it.
Something is seriously wrong with you.
Is that, I mean, why is he still there?
She shouldn't be near Congress.
You need an exorcism, because I don't know what is wrong with you people.
It was so powerful.
And I really wish everybody would stop bowing down to this.
What is he talking about? This makes no sense.
They know they are not the oppressed party, but they love being the superior ones, and they want to flaunt it.
So it was always made political, particularly for people of color and the LGBTQ population.
We end off every episode with a cockroach. This episode's cockroach.
Everything.
Everything?
All the things are going on.
All the things?
Mm-hmm. So true. All the things.
Yep.
You know, I hope that when people
Yeah,
tune into
Dr.
this
Vibe.
channel,
I think that's so funny. I think every time they watch it, they laugh. But again, big hail up to Maddie, who did an incredible job. And so before we continue on our conversations, show alert, everybody. August 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Not to mean we're not going to be on the sides before that, but special show. Ask Us Anything. That could be dangerous. That could be really dangerous.
Could be. But I might have to opt out for like Truth or Dare or something.
So we're telling you people, our community, way ahead of time. Tell your friends any questions you have for us. I'm looking forward. That was one of the things that came out of our conversation today. We're gonna ask us anything, and if it goes good, which I'm speaking is going to, we'll do it maybe once a month or bi-monthly. We do an Ask Us Anything conversation. Yes. So we're looking forward to that. Just catching up. We've got some comments here. Oh, Christy says she loves the promo.
Hey, Christy.
Hi, Christy.
And then she says, "Oh, I'm excited about the 21st." And of course, the real Dango goes, "Anything?" That could be loaded, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with that. Right. So let's get back to our regularly scheduled broadcast. So COVID is getting worse, and who is to blame?
The people who won't get the vaccine, the people who refuse to mask up, the CDC telling people that they can mask, they shouldn't mask, and all these daggone red states. When I was in South Carolina, let me tell you, my daughter and I went into a grocery store the first day we got there. We're masked up. We're walking around and we're looking like, because all these people not masked. And now, you know, we were watching this lady who's like, oh, well, if I knew that my daughter here was going to die from not being vaccinated, I would have had her vaccinated. Her daughter was 13. And it's like, but you knew. It's not like you didn't know. You knew. It just...
Right.
Jill?
Well, you know, for me, I would say that who do I want to blame? Oh, you have, how much time do we have? I think,
oh, Lord.
I think Aisha is right that we have, you know, a problem with the non-mask wearers and the unvaccinated. But, you know, they're like, when I complain about things not being on the same page, it really is, that's another thing that participates in this, because the minute you're opening doors and telling people that it's safe again, and then you're simultaneously, you know, levying and leaning people's bank accounts and like that, and it's all over the news about, I don't know, different people. And, or you're also going and saying, we had a job increase. You're sending mixed messages, because then on the other hand, you can't really assure everybody that they're going to be 100% protected. But I think the messaging is really, really bad on all of it across the board, because the reality is that, you know, there's another one coming too. The Gamma variant is one that they're seeing in French New Guinea, or French in that region with the miners. And it's actually, they're saying 1,000 times more virulent than the Delta. And so, you know, on another level, I mean, I do feel that all just came down to economics and not getting people vaccinated in these indigenous places or islands. We know that Jacinda, the prime minister in New Zealand, she took care of her islands and offered them vaccines. But getting things to people, that was a big mistake. I think here, sitting around waiting for Americans to decide to take it or not, they should have just started shipping them off to people across the world quicker, yet again, because, you know, Biden wasn't reading the room. And I could be wrong about, I mean, I guess, no, they just thought that all of a sudden people are going to take, no, they want the FDA approval. They want that. They've stated it. You have to keep going and increasing the gains. We don't even have a commissioner at the FDA. Remember, he quit when Trump was in. So the problem is, why are you not making that move? Generally, it takes 18 months for approvals and patents to go through after they've gone through their clinical trials. Yes, on a certain level, the vaccine has had some incredible clinical trials, a lot more than that Alzheimer's drug, by the way. Everybody, that's like, it got approved, or they can release drugs that aren't completely approved. But the clinical trials for the new Alzheimer's drug, only 3,000 people. That's it. If that many in phase 2, that's it. And they're going to give that out, and then they'll have whatever side effects as well. We all have side effects because we all have different bodies. We all have different things we're putting into them every single day. And there's all other mitigating factors. So, you know, the fact is we have too much information running around, guys. I can go on Twitter today and find at least 1,000 doctors and scientists trying to prove and flex what they know and this. And we have not, you know, decided what we're going to do for each other. Sometimes it's good to say less, you know. My Yogi Cameron did this video about doing things for the collective. You know, nobody wants to go and have shots in their body, but there is a part here where it's really coming down to it. If everybody's getting sick and this is like a cruel culling of nature, then we are in that movie where it could quite possibly be dwindling down to few and few people. And then the sacrifice is really where it turns to you, the audience, and is like, we have to do this for the collective so we can live on. And people aren't getting that.
I just want to get a comment. Christy saying the people to blame is the stupid people, and that's who it's at fault. They had a powwow in Mount Pleasant on the weekend.
Crazy.
Someone went in knowing that they were infected, and now it's crazy. And lots of people from both sides of the water. Saying a lot of indigenous communities will be affected because no protocols were followed. As most just being vaccinated would be okay.
You know, I was watching a news story tonight, and they were saying that the misinformation around COVID and the vaccine is very profitable. And so people are actually making money off of this, and making a lot of money off of this. And so as long as it's profitable for some folks, they're not going to stop. And that's going to make it worse. And then you've got these people, these sheep, who have the nerve to call people who are vaccinated sheep, who are willing to give money to these people who are spreading misinformation and putting their lives and the lives of the entire human population
of this
country at risk.
France has decided that any healthcare worker will have to be vaccinated. And actually, not just them. If you want to do certain things in their country, you have to be vaccinated, period. I have some friends there who some aren't pleased that it, this is the problem. Other people ruin it for other people. All we needed was a certain amount. And what's happening is that you're right with the profit that people now have YouTube channels, all sorts of stuff like stick your feet up your ear and then out through your then eat
making t-shirts, anti-vaxxer proud.
And it has become profitable. But that's more of a, oh my God, what a creepy, ghoulish way that people are living their lives. I mean, think about it. As a human race, it's a little bit frightening that we have people like this. I think that we're going to have to, we've got to persevere, but this virus is, I had a whole bunch of people go crazy on my Instagram the other day. They believe some of the goofy stuff, and it's just goofy. It's just plain goofy. I'm like, when did you get your degree? And even if you do have a degree, because there was the French doctor who won the laureate, Robert Dalton or Robert whatever, who had said that he thought giving a vaccine in the middle of a pandemic was incredibly wrong because he wasn't convinced. Well, first of all, it's all fake what they said. He said all of a sudden people discovered they could watch a YouTube video in French when they didn't even speak the language and they knew what the hell he was saying. But aside from that, he's an 80-something-year-old man. Then there's another one who said he invented mRNA. That's the Robert one. He's the one who invented mRNA. When we know that Kalika in Hungary, yes, he may have invented the beginnings in 1989 was his first publishing, the Robert guy. But Kalika took mRNA and advanced it so far that he can't compete. And it comes down to, yet again, Aisha, money. Yeah. Because she won the Pulitzer. What prize did she win for her creation of the mRNA and the virus?
I'm not sure, but she did win a prize recently.
Yes, recently. So then you have, it's just like any job. You have people who are haters, and then you have people who, and scientists can talk all day long, rings around something. Any inventor can, because it does change. But if you don't have the virus, vaccine, you better hope that your body is strong enough to handle what might be coming, because it is getting stronger and stronger. So if you're not taking care of yourself, then you might want to think twice and get the vaccine.
Yeah, I'm thankful my daughter's university is requiring all students to be vaccinated before they come on campus. And a lot of universities are moving to do this.
A lot of companies are starting to do it as well, because I think now it's kind of hitting the fan. But unfortunately, people seem to realize stuff a little too late. Now there's the Lambda, the Gamma, and then the Delta that are, it sounds like a bunch of like sororities or fraternities, doesn't it?
Yeah. But you know what, though? These people aren't going to get it until you start messing with their money. That's the overall message here, is that until you start dealing with their money, they're not going to get it. That's why New York City is doing this thing where they're giving people $100 starting Friday to get the vaccine.
Okay.
Right.
But you're going to see, but people, if they're going to lose their jobs, they're going to start to see.
Well, we've talked about the question, which is insurance companies at some point are going to have to break out and deal with this, because that anyone, if you're working a job and you've got employees and half of them are vaccinated and half of them aren't, and they're all choosing policies, there's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Especially the group plans, because people are not going to want to be paying into and see their premiums go up, because you have a bunch of people that they're paying into who are unvaccinated and are causing the rates to go up because they're having such big bills.
Exactly.
And insurance companies need to start dropping folks.
So Real Dango saying a hero, but he didn't. And then Christy saying, my concern with that is that for people like me who medically have a doctor's statement that I can't get the vaccine, but I'm lumped into idiot bill. And then Django saying, and now a percentage of the Republicans are blaming Fauci for insane reasons.
They are, but someone like Christy is the very reason that why I would go and get a shot, because I'm doing it for the collective. I'm doing it for the few, for the children or people who have other things that happen to them or are dealing with something. And I'm blessed enough to be able to take that on. So, you know, in my mind, it's not a silver bullet. We know that, but at least I think we have to think that way. We're doing it for each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's like right now,
there's a pill coming for it. I hope Christy can get that if they get that out of the third trial.
You know, it's like I've come home, but I'm going back into quarantine. I'm just not trying to be out there because it's just too dangerous. Even though my state is like now at 69% vaccinated.
Well, check in 3 weeks, because that's and you know, as the data is coming in. But for me, the reason I'm so hard about Joe Biden and this FDA situation is because you've got to imagine how much data they're getting in from all these vaccines across the world. They might need more people working on things. They need leadership. And the people, some of them that were there were Trump hoax people. I mean, although the FDA is pretty strict to a certain degree, but for people to think that it's perfect, they're wrong. Yeah. That's the other thing. Medicine changes, but people are under the impression that there's a lot of money to be made with this vaccine. But the truth is there's more money to be made with your antidepressants and your whatever else, hip pills, cholesterol, all of it. The interesting thing about mRNA is that they're discovering that it is the way it's now interacting with other illnesses and different things that they want to target. So, you know, but when it becomes a revenue stream, when anything becomes a revenue stream, you're going to have kickback. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's selling lemonade on the block.
Follow the money.
You know, that's what it all
follow the money. That's what it lays down to. Where's the money? Where's the money going? Yeah, that's the bottom line. Okay, let's go next up. I didn't know about this story till the ladies brought up in our production. I don't know where to go with this one. I really don't know where to go. So, rapper DaBaby apologizes for HIV comments as Boohoo drops him. Boohoo is a clothing manufacturer. I don't even know who DaBaby is, ladies. So you need to educate me on this one. Who dat?
I didn't know who dat.
He's a trap rapper. He's horrible. He's a horrible rapper, period. Let's just get that out the way. He's not my flavor, but, you know, my daughter's young, so, you know, I know who he is. But, you know, she and I both agree that he's trash. Boohoo said the bye-bye to DaBaby for making homophobic comments and just really horrible comments about people with HIV during
a live concert.
Yeah, a live concert of a hip hop festival in New York over the weekend, and also bringing on stage Tory Lanez, who is the rapper who shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot last year, while she was there. Not, and you know, he's supposed to keep several feet away from her. So it was just violence on top of the violence on top of the violence. And DaBaby apparently has been violent toward women, disrespectful of Black women, period. And so then there was this. Now, he messed around and found out because Elton John decided to get in his about this.
Elton read him.
Okay, so now when Elton John reads you, it's what your career is done. Elton John sits on the boards of all these music organizations, the Grammys, all these things. Okay,
so true. I didn't think about that.
Your career is over. It's like You will be blackballed for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
There will be no more hits.
No.
None.
No, and nobody's going to want to really touch you.
Mm-mm. No.
Yeah, it was like he committed suicide when he was talking, you know.
And he kept going. He kept going. And what's so bad is
it was like watching that happening when I saw the playback. And I don't even know who he is, but I knew whoever had that many people in an audience was somebody. And then I knew afterwards they could quite potentially become nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Because to go into with the HIV and that people who had HIV were how, you know, it was another misinformation tropes he was using to explain all of this. Mm-hmm. It was horrifying and horrific. And he's just too damn long in the tooth to fame that he tried to apologize. But I don't know if an apology should be accepted. That's what I feel. I don't think it should. I think you have to earn that back.
But
and
what
I don't
apology?
think he's done anything.
It wasn't even really an apology.
Was it not?
It was a
Oh, his fans were clean. That's what he said. And then everyone was saying, you know, it's kind of crazy that we're even talking about this. You know, it's just, but I think the reason that it's so interesting to talk about is that the amount of money and the what these people are pulling down and how far, you know, this isn't the first time he's done this. Let's be honest. Mm-mm. This is somebody new. They know. But they've allowed it, and there you have it.
And I look at it this way: you know, a hit dog hollers.
Yeah.
So the louder you scream about homosexuality, you might be hiding some of your own homoerotic desires.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot in life. You live as long as me, you start to go.
And you see that a lot in the music industry.
Yeah,
it's like there's the phenomenon of the homo thug,
right?
And I think that you know,
I'm gonna catch up a little bit because Christy had a comment based on the last conversation that we just want to make sure absolutely it needs to be done as a collective, but we do need to remember that we need to advocate for those who absolutely can't get it,
exactly,
not to be punished. Now, getting on this story, Dangle goes, I don't know who he is either. Christy goes, yeah, they were way out of line. It was awful.
Yeah.
Aisha, you have all the info.
She does.
And then Real Django goes, Scoop Diva.
It's true, but you know, it's so funny.
But what's happened to hip hop music when we were younger? Thank you. What's happened? Hip hop music was.
This is pretty low. It's at its bottom barrel too. It's like they'll do anything. You know, it's like you drop some coins or a bag and they're all down on the ground and they'll do anything to get it. The interesting thing was when you watch this kid on stage, you're like going, he's singing a song and then he breaks into this. It was like, what the hell happened? Like what snapped?
It's like what triggered you? And this is the thing. I'm like, is it all these drugs that people were taking? You know, when they were like the ADHD medications, what is going on? Because I call it spastic rap because it doesn't make any sense. It's like they're just blurting things out there. Exactly. Like let me tell you.
It actually sounds like drums. Actually,
it's mumble rap. That's what they call it, mumble rap. But there are, you know, back in the day, those rappers were well read. Okay. They were well read.
Yeah, they were, but these kids are not. These kids can barely finish third grade.
All they want is the money. They don't care about the crap.
Mumble rap. Yes.
Wasn't Marvel? Didn't Marvel have a Mr. Mumbles? Wasn't there a character
I don't know,
called Mumbles?
but what happened?
They sound like what is it? Dumb Donald on Fat Albert.
Christy goes, yeah, it's junk now.
It is.
And then Real Django goes, hip hop is retired. Side to say, what happened to the days of?
Remember when Nas said hip hop is dead?
KRS-One.
Yeah, KRS-One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Queen
He was like a
Latifah.
vegan. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
leaders of the new school.
They went into
yes.
they went into making movies, TV.
Yeah.
They got the hell out of
all
it.
those people. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. It goes,
The
my
ones who
recording-
weren't making money, the ones who were
Hey,
actually just making
look at
rap.
this. I didn't know you're into music. My
Wow.
recording studio has been boxed up for 17 years. Real Django, you had a
Wow.
recording
God.
studio?
Oh gosh.
What?
We're gonna have to play some songs of yours one
Yeah,
day.
Jazzy,
Yeah.
just Jazzy for you. I hate mumble rap. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like they don't even try anymore. It's like it's like there's this God, I can't remember his name. It escapes me, but there's this comedian who did this thing on the Double XL new rappers in a cipher from one of these award shows a couple years ago, and he said he was talking about these mumble rappers. He's like, they're just making words up and speaking in like they're speaking in tongues in other languages.
Right.
Well, I gotta say, I do think it's like the Tower of Babel these years that we're living in. I see everybody reading a sentence. Actually, one kid the other day said something so interesting to somebody. He said, "Do you see a lot of words here on the paper? What is happening when you put them all together? Like, we're not interpreting it the same way." And remember, when we were in school, that was there is a cognition test you would take.
Yeah,
I think people are scoring really low on
so
that.
Real
They don't
Django's
read
saying
sentences.
Well, they don't do those tests like that anymore, Jill. They all do these Common Core tests. So everybody's taking the same test, and it's not.
So Real Dango's saying my keyboard's in the closet and my guitar is in there too. Oh, wow. And then just Jazzy for you, it's all about the beat. No one can understand anything they say.
Unless you're the female rappers. Now, I'll say this. The female rappers still have to rap.
Right.
Okay.
But the male rappers, they just don't care.
It's true, they don't.
Okay.
And they get a pass and they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Last conversation piece tonight. This episode is Cockroach, the unmasked anti-vaxxers.
And this isn't directed at Christy talking about we understand.
We understand people who can't get the vaccine. Right. But those people also have the common sense to mask up because they know that they're vulnerable. Okay. But let me tell you, those people in that clip that I sent to Dr. Vibe and Jill via our Twitter DM, standing up and clapping because it
St.
was
Louis.
a full house. St. Louis, gave a standing ovation because they got rid of the mask mandate.
Right. But guys, I'm a very worried person about the fall. And I don't know if any of you feel what I feel. People are going to
go back indoors.
I really have a bad feeling about it, only because, I feel like our big push came after July 4th. I think these holidays, whatever, we do have the travel ban back, by the way, which it goes back into effect of people coming from Europe to here. That actually, I just read that the other day because we were going to plan a trip, and that's not going to happen. So here we are at the end of July, and I'm telling you, I think as soon as it starts to cool down, now it takes a little longer for the West Coast. East Coast is gonna start up again if they don't get this together. And I think that's what the push, why everybody's like some of the governors who are like we got to do, I'll pay you to take the vaccine. Yep. You know what I mean? Well, and they know.
You all remember what I said, that Joe Biden should not have said there will be no lockdown. There will be no lockdown. I told you he should never have said that.
Well, I'm okay if he doesn't, can't keep up with some of this stuff because being realistic, but I do expect him to take care of a couple of things. He did say that he was supposed to alleviate people having to something with their credit ratings, with some of the bank loans for people who have been struggling with their homes. People are actually losing their homes. This is the thing, neither Trump nor Biden ever addressed those predatory loans for people. Neither one of them did, not one. And you know what? They can go suck it, because the reality is that shows you how out of touch these rich people, or they just don't want to hear it. The reality is people need to call their Congress people and say, yo, there are people who have tenants in their places who actually took the bulk of the money for some of the rent that came in and split and went to other states and moved. There's a lot of craziness that just wilding out that happened. And then nobody's remembering landlords still have to pay their mortgages.
Yeah.
You know, and they haven't done anything. The banks, even though they're like, we lowered the interest rate, bull crap. If you go in for the loan, the feds lowered, but the banks didn't. The banks always create a caveat when you go in for the loan. So they are never asked out, but you are. Yeah. So I'm sorry. Those are the two things. And if VP Harris wants to get on stuff, she needs to take care of the needs of the people with the real stuff. Like, they still don't have jobs. They still don't have, you know, their money flowing nicely. And y'all coming in here, everybody's getting Delta again, and you're going to keep the system open. And then you're going to lift the moratorium, or you're not. Get money to people where it matters. Because the craziest thing I heard was my friend who actually had this IRS levy or whatever told me, what was the damn hell of me getting the stimulus when technically it's a wash. It was a wash. And she was like, it's a wash. This does nothing for me. Because now they're like on these people like white on rice.
Yep.
They are, and it's wrong. And the White House needs to pay the attention, because they've gotten, sorry for my language, I'm trying to change that. That's on my habit sheet. They are really wearing people down. And I knew it when I was watching the commission thing on TV and asking certain friends, and they're like, I can't even watch it anymore. Friends who were fighting for or against Nina Turner, or whoever you like, they're just tapped out, and they're starting to see that, you know, okay, is this going to happen? Is it not? Yeah, you're going to give all the states their money for infrastructure, but no one will ever see it because they don't have to use it until 2030. I mean, give me a break. Make that money available. It can only be used starting today. You're holding out on this COVID money for 2024. What the hell is wrong with them?
What they need to do is pass, and they're going to have to, and they should.
So today, actually, cockroaches are Democrat party for me today. And personally, they can suck it. I'm very unimpressed and very not happy with what they're doing. Yeah. I watched them, and they're spewing, and they had some good zingers, but they don't know how to deliver the punch. And I'm just like, And they're leaving people hanging. Yeah. And I don't like it.
And the truth is that they need to either do another budget reconciliation, because they still have that in the back pocket. And at this point, they need to do a $5 trillion one. Forget doing these little $1 trillion ones. Do a $5 trillion one, and get people money so people can stay at home until this thing.
It's not going to go through.
No, it won't go through. But they need to play dirty. They need to get dirty. Yeah. And they need to they're out of step with their country. Listen, guys, we are super intelligent, intellectual people here. And what the hell were we talking about before this segment? DaBaby. This is the America that they work in. We aren't back where Tom Jefferson was talking about, well, I brought my little slave to Paris with me. That doesn't exist. Like, grow up, get it together. They're out of touch, and they better show me, because I've about had it.
All right.
Well, I'm just angry with them this week.
Jill has had it with tonight's show, so we're going to stop it.
No, with the Democratic Party.
I know. I got it. So before we close up, Christy's saying everyone should wear masks, keep lots of distance, and wash no matter what right now.
Oh, yeah. By the way, in terms of washing no matter what right now. I just gotta say, I cannot believe that Ashton Kutcher and Mila, what's her name, do not bathe, let alone not use soap, and don't bathe their babies. What the hell is wrong with them?
He said he washes his crotch every day.
That's not good enough. Oh my God. In the middle of a pandemic and you don't wash?
And there'd still be some old broke down hoes trying to get with him. Let me tell you, that's another story.
I am tired, people. If you don't bathe, stop putting it on Twitter.
Jesus. And final comment of the night.
Wash your freaking legs.
Yes.
Just Jazzy for you says the flu in addition to COVID will be concerns in the fall.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Quote Mariah Carey, wash your damn hands.
Okay, Staggers got that South Carolina fling on it tonight. Boom.
No.
Woo. Boom. Come on, girlfriend. Push. Push. Christy's going LMFAO. Well, family, another epic conversation tonight on State of Things with Aisha Jill. And hey, another good one. Another good one as always. We'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to hang out. And as always, we like to give the contact information of our 2 stars. So first up, Miss Jones.
Yes. I am at Jill D. Jones. Twitter. There it is, right there. There.
There you go. And next up, Aisha Staggers.
I'm at Aisha Staggers on Twitter, right there.
There you go. So, and for myself,
looking over her shoulder.
you saw my standing.
Okay, hold on. Okay, let me bring them on now. They're still going on. There's Princess looking over her shoulder.
Oh, and so are the little princes.
He's watching us. For myself, I'm at the drvibeshow.com. I'd like to thank everyone who watched us live or on replay tonight. Who watched us live tonight: Christy, Real Django, Jen, some others. I just want to make sure I catch everybody so I don't leave anybody out. Just Jazzy for you. Thank you so much. And what else? And Jen saying, great conversation tonight, everyone.
I'm going to tell you guys, that thing scares me in the middle of the night.
Okay.
I'll tell you, if I sleep in the living room, I'll wake up and be like, oh my God, somebody's here. Or I get up in the middle of the night to come to go to the kitchen and get something to drink and be like, oh my God, there's someone at the door.
I'd have to put a towel or lay him down in bed or something because I don't know, standing up in
TMI. TMI.
Just lay him down on the couch.
TMI. Okay, before we leave, 2 things. So first up, August 21st, Ask Us Anything. State of Things with Aisha and Jill. Ask Us Anything. And that is going to be an epic. Who knows? It may be our first and our last one in that one. and then we will be back this Saturday, July 31st, last day of July at 9 p.m. Eastern. Man, July, this summer just July 31st is going to be gone. So everyone, we look forward to having you back on, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So here we go. As always, I like to end off our conversations. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger and aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect, and remember to give yourselves grace. And we look forward to seeing you Saturday night. If I could use a song by Earth, Wind, and Fire, I'd love to play it, but that's huge copyright infringement. God bless. Peace, well, keep the faith, and walk good.